What's up? What's up, everybody? How is everybody doing today? Getting my mic here, make sure we're all set up. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat here. We got Arizona in the house. What's up, Randy? Enrique is in from the Cayman Islands. Nice. Permanent residence or vacation? What's up, Pierre? Joy with Aloha. Are we in Hawaii? That would be pretty sweet, if I do say so myself. Deacon in Detroit. What is up? Everybody can hear me. Akash from Pakistan. We have people literally all over the world here, which is pretty freaking cool. Michael from Vietnam. I'm sorry. Win, I think is how we say that. Sorry, buddy. From Vietnam. What is up? Louise from Massachusetts. What's up, Mauricio? Love seeing you on these every week. We have Naveen from Sri Lanka and Facebook user from Canada. That Facebook user sure gets around. We also got some Facebook user in Norway and India. Hey, if this is your first time joining the chat, make sure you go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and give StreamYard the permission to use your name so I know who I'm talking to here. We've got Omri from Israel. What is up? And Yisanul, sorry if I'm messing that up, from Bangladesh. What is up, everybody? Good to see you. Glad you're here. Today, we are going to be talking about Mother's Day. But before we do, let's get engaged. Let's get some movement here. Let's take a little bit of action. Does everybody have a drink in hand? These are called Coffee with Michaels after all. And we're going to start this off with a toast. The Digital Marketers Toast. Everybody ready for this? Grab a drink. All you need is a mug, bottle, or flask, or a glass of some kind. I like a mug with coffee in it. And this is the Digital Marketers Toast. Are we ready? Here's to more conversions, more cash, cheap CEMs, and lower CACs to higher CTRs, much higher CVRs, enabled ad accounts and big bank accounts, to upsells, downsells, and cross-sells, winning products, and repeat sales. And the thing that everybody knows, the riches are in the niches, but also the email flows. Drink. That's really good coffee. Really good coffee after the Digital Marketers Toast. This is going to be the best Coffee with Michael session this week. I promise you. So, everybody ready to get into this? In my chat, I said that the holiday pie here belongs to the action takers. If you're an action taker and you're ready for this, can everybody put action in the chat here? Action in the chat. Give me a little action in the chat. Sounds kind of funny when you say that fast. Action in the chat. Ricky says he likes the Cockney rhyming slang. Okay. Glad you enjoyed that. Got a lot of whoops, where's my cursor here? Lots of cheers going on, lots of action. Everybody's ready to rock and roll. Very nice. I like it. All right, let's do this. Today, we're going to be talking about Mother's Day and Mother's Day prep. Now, interestingly enough, I've had a few people ask me how sales actually are on Mother's Day. I've had a few people that have expressed just a little bit of skepticism that you can make a lot of money on Mother's Day. Well, I want to dispel that myth from the very beginning. This is a screenshot taken from our Facebook group last year. I've actually taken this screenshot. I took this screenshot and I saved it to my desktop under the file name It Is Possible. Now, that may not mean much to you, but if anybody knows me, I keep a very clean desktop. I literally have nothing on my desktop except one folder that I call the junk drawer, and that's where all my crap goes. And then I have this file here, and it's called It Is Possible. And it's to remind me anytime I'm getting frustrated because I don't have sales going on or anything like that, that somebody last year sold $578,000 worth of jewelry in literally 7 days. And this was a Mother's Day run, believe it or not. Now, I too was very skeptical you could do huge numbers on Mother's Day until I saw this screenshot. And it literally changed everything. It blew my mind and really showed me what was possible with Shine On products and with these compulsory gift-giving holidays like Mother's Day. $578,000 in just 7 days. 11,200 units. That's just, it's unbelievable, really, when you think about it. It's just a staggering amount of volume in just 7 days and for Mother's Day. Now, when you take a step back, though, and you try to do some of the math, it kind of makes sense. This individual hit a winning product on a compulsory gift-giving holiday. So what I mean by that is it's a holiday where people feel required to buy gifts. There's only a few of those a year. Christmas is one, Valentine's Day is one, Mother's Day is one, and there are a few others like birthdays, anniversaries, things like that. These are compulsory gift-giving holidays. Things like Memorial Day and July 4th and Thanksgiving, those don't really fit into these categories. These are very specific compulsory gift-giving holidays. So he hit a compulsory gift-giving holiday. He obviously tapped in, he had a winning product, so he tapped into some kind of sentiment that existed out in the marketplace. And with Mother's Day, it's kind of easy pickings because literally everybody has a mom, everybody has a grandma that are hopefully still with us. And a lot of people are going to be buying gifts. Jewelry is a perfect gifting product for something like this. So this individual, $578,000 in 7 days. If you're blown away by that, put blown away in the chat here. Blown away in the chat. If that blew your mind like it blew my mind a little less than a year ago when I initially saw that. Again, it rocked my world such that I saved this to my desktop, called it It Is Possible. And this file is still on my desktop. It is still one of the only files on my desktop, and I reference it often. All right, we got some people that are blown away as I was. Glad I'm in good company here with that. All right, let's get into this training today. So I said that I was going to give you a simple step-by-step process on how you can take advantage of this holiday as well. We are going to go through this. We're going to go through it pretty quick. But if you take notes, if you watch the replay, I'm giving you the outline here of exactly what you need to do if you want to take advantage of this holiday. These steps can be very, very complex. Obviously, there are some more things that kind of go underneath each of these steps. I can't cover literally everything in an hour. That's just how things are. However, I'm giving you enough here to start taking action. And when you start taking action, you can apply what I call learning on demand, which is go until you hit a barrier, right? Take as much action as you can until you hit a wall, and then Google and figure out how you get over that wall. Take as much action as you can until you hit the next wall, then Google how to get around that one, and just keep doing that, solving problems over and over again until you get to the finish line. That's how I think you should approach this. Try to avoid analysis paralysis. That kills people, right? It keeps people stuck. You're in Groundhog Day. You'll live in the same day over and over again. You don't want that, right? Apply what I call learning on demand. Go until you hit a wall, stop, Google around, learn how to get over that wall, go until you hit the next wall, and repeat. All right, so step number one here in this simple step-by-step process for taking advantage of Mother's Day is you figure out what's working. You need to do some product research. Now, there are a bunch of different ways you can do this. I'm going to go through them briefly here in the next few slides. But here are some great places you can go to for product research. Now, when you're doing product research, what you're really looking for here are phrases. You're trying to find winning phrases. These are ideas and concepts that you're going to be able to apply to one of our products and take off. So you're trying to find winning phrases. And you'll know winning phrases when they start to pop up. You'll see them over and over again in different places. You're going to start to see trends. You'll see them on different designs, things like that. That's usually a pretty good indicator people are having success with a phrase. So Pinterest is a place I like to go for these phrase ideas. I like to use Google Shopping or Google Ads for these ideas. So if you go to Google and you type in like jewelry for wife or jewelry for mom, things like that, you'll get ads up at the top of the page that will show you screenshots of different products. You can look there. Hallmark is a place that I go occasionally. And I look at the greeting cards. I look at the Mother's Day cards. I try to get an idea of what's out there. Now, it's a little tough with Hallmark because they don't They don't have intelligent ways to sort through their cards to see which ones are selling the best and things like that. But it's still a good idea to go there for inspiration. Amazon's another place I like to go. If you type Mother's Day message card jewelry or something like that, Amazon's loaded with ideas. You can look at which ones have the most reviews. Google Trends is a great place to go. Etsy, and I'll get into kind of how you can use Etsy to its fullest. You have Google Images you can use as well. You can type in Mother's Day jewelry, something like that on Google Images, comes up with a gajillion and one ideas. You can do the same thing with eBay. Believe it or not, people are selling jewelry on eBay all the time. Don't be afraid of any of the prices you see on platforms like Etsy or Google Shopping or eBay. What people will pay there is substantially different than what they'll pay on Facebook. When people are on eBay or Etsy, they're searching for a product, they're getting a bunch of products back in the results, and they can actually shop around. On Facebook, they're not doing that, right? Typically, they don't even know they want the product until they see it. And then you have virtually no competition at that point because they're not shopping around, right? They see your product, it resonates with them, they buy, and they'll typically pay a higher price for it. You have AdSpy. AdSpy is a paid tool. Hey, somebody said my video stopped here in the chat. Can you guys let me know if you can still see me here? Let me know if you can still see me in the chat. So Ricky says video is fine for me. I'm going to keep going here, but if my video or audio stops, I need you to let me know. Okay, so AdSpy is a paid research tool. It's kind of expensive. It's like $150 a month, but it's worth it. You get all kinds of ideas. It's almost like a library of Facebook ads, and you can search it. It's like a database almost, and you can search it. It's very, very good for this kind of thing. The only downside to AdSpy is that it is typically behind. So usually the things you see on AdSpy are weeks, if not months behind. So it's kind of hard to stay right on the cutting edge with it. And then finally, you can look at other Shopify stores. This is also a really good place to go to look for ideas. I do have kind of a trick for you here. If you go to Google and you type in site:/myshopify.com and then do a space and type your search term, Google will actually search all the Shopify stores out there for things that match your terms. It's a really good way to spy on your competitors. So very quickly, here's how I like to use a few of these. So Pinterest, again, it's a big search engine. I'll put in relevant search terms like to my mom, Mother's Day phrases, gift for mom, mom phrases, I love my mom, those kinds of things. And then you're going to get a ton of results back. Now, what I'm looking for, results that have phrases in them, kind of like this. And when I start to see certain phrases pop up over and over and over again, that usually tells me that phrase is popular, it's resonating, people are sharing it, engaging with it, and things like that. Those are phrases that you kind of want to write down, make a mental note of, because those might work well on jewelry. I'm just going to read a few of these here just to kind of, looks like everybody's saying my video is good. There have been a few starts and stops. Just keep me apprised here if you lose me. And we'll figure it out. So I'm going to read a few of these just so you can kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about here. I've got a bunch of examples throughout this presentation, so I'm not going to read every single one. Here's one: to my mom. That's good. It follows the greeting card format. To my mom, love your son. That's exactly what you want to see. I know it's not easy for a woman to raise a man, and there is no way I can pay you back. I just want to let you know that you are appreciated. It doesn't matter how far I go in life, I will always be your little boy, and you will always be my loving mother. So sweet, it's sentimental, it kind of touches, it pulls on the heartstrings a little bit. This is exactly the kind of stuff you're going for when you're looking for products, for phrases. All right, we're going to talk about Etsy. Etsy, again, it's another search engine. So you're going to want to go into Etsy and you're going to want to put in relevant search terms. To my mom, gift for mom, message card jewelry for mom, Mother's Day gift, things like that. Run a bunch of different search terms and really try to spread your net wide to see what ideas you can find. When you start to see things in the search results that have a bestseller tag, and then when you go into the product and you can see that there have been recent reviews on that particular product, usually that's a good indicator that you're onto something. You need to make a note of that phrase because for some reason it is resonating with people. Also, if the phrase repeats a lot, that's another really good indicator that it's something that's resonating with people and you should make a note of. Again, I'm not going to read all of these phrases right here. I've got a lot of them throughout this presentation as examples. I think we'll get bogged down a little bit. Let's see here. Let me catch up on the chat real quick. So one person asked, what's the Shopify trick? So if you go to Google and you type site : like SITE : and then I believe it, no spaces, type myshopify.com, then a space and type your search term, Google will just search My Shopify sites. So it'll search basically anything hanging off of My Shopify domain. So it's a really powerful tool. Somebody else here asked, don't you think the message is kind of long? Yeah, that message I did read to you was kind of long. It's a great that you actually asked that. You are probably going to need to shorten and modify some of these. You may have to spin them a little bit. Like, so for example, on that one, it was from Love Your Son. I'd probably see if I could spin this and make it a Love Your Daughter. One, because I think daughters and moms probably share a more mushy, sentimental type relationship than sons to moms would. Just my 2 cents on that. Let's see here. Adrian said, my slide's fuzzy. Ricky says it's crystal clear. All right, I'm just going to keep going. If something goes south, you just start typing stop in the chat, and I'll respond to that. Okay, let's keep going here. So that's kind of how you would use Etsy. Next is Google Images. Again, it's another search engine. Type relevant terms into Google search, and it's going to pop up a bunch of different images. And you're going to see things from all over the internet. You're going to see greeting cards, posters, other message card jewelry. You're going to see all kinds of stuff. Again, you're looking for things that kind of repeat over and over again. That typically tells you it's resonated, it's found a vein somewhere, and it's something that maybe has potential. Amazon, it's another search engine. Again, throw relevant search terms in there. And what I like to do here is I like to look at the reviews. I like to sort by reviews. I like to see which ones have the most reviews. I also like to see how recent the reviews are. Like if it's getting recent reviews, that usually tells you it's a hot product. The product's currently on trend. And also don't limit yourself to jewelry. Notice this here is a message box, or what is it called? The music box. And it's got a phrase on it as well, right? And there's all kinds of stuff. There's journals. I've seen volleyballs and basketballs have sentimental phrases on it like this. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff out there. So you have to be creative, and you have to search around and really spread your net far and wide to catch all those really good ideas. Hallmark. So I like to use Hallmark mainly just for inspiration of the ideas. You have to kind of browse around. There's no way to search through the cards very well. There's no way to sort the cards to see which ones are selling the best, things like that. But you can find good sentimental phrases inside of it. Now, listen, don't copy this word for word, especially with Hallmark. A lot of that stuff is copyrighted, and that's not what you're going to want to do. I mean, you're going to be stealing intellectual property at that point, but get inspiration, get ideas, and see how you can apply those to your own phrases. Ad Spy. So again, I actually am a big fan of Ad Spy. Not only do you get to see products that are working, but you also get to see the ads that went with those products. If you're at a level where you can invest some money in research tools, Ad Spy is a great tool to invest in. Now, what you can do with Ad Spy is you can set up some filters, right? And so the way I like to do it, I like to, if I'm researching for a specific holiday, like Mother's Day, for example, I'd probably go look at what trended for last year's Mother's Day, and I would sort by social proof. So it'll actually, if I go back and specify the date range for last year's Mother's Day, it'll populate a whole bunch of ads, and then I can actually sort the ads by social proof. So I can see which ads had the most likes, shares, comments, things like that. And I can start to kind of crawl through those and see what resonated then. There's a good chance that what resonated last year will resonate this year. If not, maybe you need to make some slight tweaks and variations to it. But just because a phrase ran some rounds last year doesn't mean that the entire market is tapped out. So that's kind of how I like to begin my research for Mother's Day using Ad Spy. I like to keep it limited to the United States. Typically when I'm starting my testing or I'm doing any of my product research and I have the option to limit it by geography, I usually like to start in the United States. If you get something working here, you can take it elsewhere. But this is a place that I really like to start. Okay, so that's step one, right? Everybody, step one, do product research. Get creative here. There's no one way to do it. there's a bunch of different places you can go to get product ideas. I mean, they're literally everywhere you go. We know one seller that's with us that did really, really good for Valentine's Day, and he got his idea from the greeting card aisle at the store. I mean, he literally got his idea from the greeting card aisle at the store, and he did a good, healthy 6 figures with that particular product. So the ideas are everywhere. You just have to have the eyes to see them, right? You just need to open your eyes and you'll start seeing ideas all over the place. All right. Just jumping over here to the chat. Is there, to catch up on questions before I go to step number 2 here, is there any way to get new or more Google, Facebook ads? I usually only get shown the same few stores. Yeah. So all you have to do, go like run a search in Google search index and look for Facebook pages that you think are running ads you might be interested in. So in your niche, like if your niche is the husband to wife niche, I'd maybe go to the Facebook search and I'd type like, I love my wife, I love marriage, married life is great. I don't know. You're going to have to brainstorm and you have to type a bunch of different search terms in there. It's going to give you a list of Facebook pages. You can go into those pages, look at their ad library, and if they're running ads, click the ads, go to their site, add to cart, get pixeled, do all of that stuff, and you'll start seeing ads from those stores. Once Facebook kind of learns what you're interested in, they'll take over and they'll just start showing you all kinds of ads. But one of the keys is interact with the ads that are in the niche you want to see more ads for. That's how Facebook learns what you're interested in. And eventually your newsfeed will become a hub of ideas. Your newsfeed will basically become a swipe file, so to speak. So that's how I would do that. It looks like, yeah. So here is Kim. Thank you for typing this. Here's the trick I was talking about. If you want to search Shopify stores for a particular niche or for ideas, right? So what you do is you type site : and then myshopify.com space and then the search term. And what Facebook will do or Google will do is it will search basically anything hanging off myshopify.com, which is every Shopify store, and it'll look for those terms. And it's a way to just look at what other Shopify stores are selling. So little ninja trick for everybody. Thank you, Kim, for typing that. Somebody mentioned Personalization Mall here. I agree. This is another great place to look for ideas. It's literally endless. I mean, you can find ideas everywhere. You just have the eyes to see. So thank you for that. It's a great idea. All right. Okay, good. Looks like we're caught up here. Let's get into Franken phrases. All right. So by now you should have done your research. You should have a bunch of ideas that you kind of want to go after. This is where I like to create some of my own original phrases. Now, you don't have to create original phrases, but this is a good way to breathe life into a phrase that's maybe already done its round. So I call this technique Franken phrases, right? So basically what you do is you get a bunch of phrases in front of you and you look at which parts of the phrase you think made that phrase popular, right? And sometimes you can tell because the parts of the phrase that made it popular will show up in other phrases as well. But you can kind of, after you do a lot of research and you become an expert in your particular niche, this stuff will start to stand out to you a little bit. So get a bunch of phrases, line them all up in front of you. And what you're going to do is you're going to start to grab different pieces of the phrase and you're going to stack them on top of each other and make your own original phrase. So here's just kind of an example of Franken phrases in action. So you can see I've got 3 different kind of phrases here in front of me, right? And you can see I'm taking bits of the phrases and I'm starting to stack them. So here's the first part. For all the words that sometimes go unspoken. So you can see I took that right here from this phrase. Thank you for believing in me and being there through it all. So that comes from over here. This is the second kind of phrase that I'm putting together. For everything we shared, the dreams, the laughter, hard times, and tears. That comes from over here, from this pillowcase. I love you, Mom, I do. And that comes from right here back to this, whatever this is, this engraved cutting board or something. So you can see I basically built an original phrase out of other phrases that I saw repeat in our search results. That's Franken phrases. Here's one more example. Again, I've got 3 phrases that kind of were repeating and popping up all over the place. So first, I take one from over here. I'm forever grateful for all that you are and who you have taught me to be. Then I take number 2 from down here. Thank you for all the sacrifices you make every day. Take number 3 from over here. The only thing better than having you for a mom is having my children, having you for a grandma. And then I take the last phrase. Where's the last phrase? I don't think I marked it. I love you with all my heart, forever and always. But you can see how I'm constructing phrases, right? I'm taking winning phrases from different places. I'm constructing them together into my own original phrase. I call this Franken phrases. This is something you're going to want to practice. Again, do your product research, become kind of a master in your niche, and you'll start to know which phrases are popular. And that's going to make this step way, way easier. This phrase here, I would even say it probably needs to be shortened, probably quite a bit. In fact, maybe an entire line needs to be taken out of it. But for illustration's sake, it shows you the method pretty clearly. So that is called Franken phrases. Everybody with me so far, give me an action in the chat if you're still with me. Action in the chat if you're still with me. Aaliyah says, come on, 6 figures. Mama needs to pay off some student loans. Well, you're in the right place. Follow these steps and you'll get closer, I hope, to paying off those student loans. But we are here for your success, 100%. We're all rooting for you, Aaliyah. Let's see. So when it comes to interests, you think it's better to go after daughters than sons or both? I do think it's probably better to go after daughters. First of all, I don't, this is just based on my experience. It doesn't seem like men buy lots of Mother's Day gifts. I could be totally wrong about that. But like, you know, in my family, my brother, for example, doesn't really buy a gift. He just wishes my mom a happy Mother's Day. Now, I buy a gift for my wife because we have a child. And then, you know, I've seen also occasions where like the spouse will buy the gift for like, so like the wife in a marriage will buy a gift for not only her mom, but also the mother-in-law. So I tend to think that the daughter's angle is probably a little bit better than the son's angle. It's a great question. All right, lots of actions here. We are ready to rock and roll. Awesome. Dude, I love to see this engagement. Action is 2 a.m. in Vietnam right now. Love it, man. I love that. If you want to do, if you want to have, you know, an unnaturally good year, you have to do things outside of the norm, right? Like if you want to have a normal year, just keep doing normal things. If you want to have a great year, you have to do abnormal things. I really like to see this dedication up till 2 a.m. for the coffee with Michael. I hope you're not drinking coffee so you can get some sleep, actually. All right, action. Okay, let's go. All right, so step number 3. After you have done your Franken phrases, it's time to kind of tailor these to a specific niche. Now, you don't really think about it, but even inside of Mother's Day, you have a few different angles you can go after. So you have the mom angle, which is pretty common. This is what almost everyone is going to go after, and that's okay. This is a huge market, so there's plenty of room to just go after the mom niche here. But don't forget, you also have the grandmother niche, right? People that have moms typically have grandmas. If God willing, if they're still with us, they're probably going to want a gift. You can create a gift that goes after that niche. And also there just aren't a lot of gifts tailored for grandmothers. So if you can tap into this niche, you may have a corner on the market. And then another one I like to go after is this bonus mom or unbiological mom. Now, this is one that I started to see trend probably 2 years ago. This is more for stepmoms, right? Stepmoms, adopted parents, things like that. There's a, you know, I think the divorce rate in the United States is like 70% or something like that. Many of those people go on to become remarried. So this bonus mom thing kind of plays into that a little bit. It's playing into the stepmom. And by the way, bonus mom sounds a lot better than stepmom on a message card. I think everybody here would agree. So bonus mom and biological mom, these are other angles you can put at the card. So see how I've taken one phrase here, and I've literally taken the one phrase and we've just spun it for each of the different angles, right? Here's bonus mom from your bonus daughter. to my mom, and then we put I love you, mom, here, just a little change in the way the phrase ends. Love your daughter. To my grandma, I love you, grandma. Love your granddaughter, right? Didn't put it here because it just, I love you, bonus mom, just didn't quite sound right. However, you get the point here. So now after you create some phrases, you can start to spin them to different niches for Mother's Day in particular. Here's kind of what some designs may look like with these particular phrases. So you can see, again, they follow the greeting card format. This is exactly what you want. Notice that who it's to is really big up here at the top. That's going to be important. When people are on their news feed, they're using their cell phones, right? They don't have a ton of screen real estate here. So you need to make sure that phrase is really big. And these parts of the phrase, like this part here and this part down here, these are the attention getters, really, of the phrase when they're just scrolling through the feed. So you want to make sure those are big and kind of in your face. Notice it says to my bonus mom. That stands out. It's weird. It's different. It's going to get somebody to stop the scroll. To my mom, to my grandma. Well, hey, Mother's Day is right around the corner. People are going to be looking for these kinds of gifts. They're going to be tuned into that. And when they see this in the newsfeed, they're going to be more likely to stop, read what you have to offer, and possibly buy. Okay. After you've done all of these things, all right, so let's quickly review. So step number 1, figure out what's working. Do your product research and just put down a ton of ideas, tons of ideas. Step number 2, you're going to want to tailor, you're going to want to use Franken phrases and create some of your own phrases that grab the best parts of all the best-selling phrases that you found. Step number 3, tailor them to the specific niche you want to go after. Keep in mind, guys, you might find a phrase that worked in a completely different niche you were not even thinking of, like maybe a romance niche. But you find that if you tweak 1, 2, or 3 different little things in it, it actually is perfect for the Mother's Day angle. You may find some things like that. This step is all about taking the winning phrases that you have found, twisting them, tweaking them, applying new angles to them, and making them relevant for Mother's Day. Then you have to get your designs created. So you can create designs in Canva. You can create designs in Photoshop. You can go to Upwork. There's a bunch of places to go for designs. Shine On actually has a Shine On graphic design group, which is a great place to tap for ideas. And then finally, you need to run some Facebook tests. Now, look, if you go through steps number 1 through 4, while valuable for your own personal growth, but you don't run any ads, almost all of this was for nothing, right? Almost all of it was for nothing. This is the finish line here, so to speak. This is the finish line. If you're running a race and you tap out 10 feet in front of the finish line, you don't finish, right? You don't place. It doesn't count, right? This is the finish line. So if you do all the steps before, this is where the rubber meets the road. So everybody here, I want you to give me a commitment here that if you do steps 1 through 4, you are going to run some Facebook ads. So if that's you, I want you to type I'm in the chat. Give me an I'm in if the chat. If you can commit that, hey, if I do the research and I make the designs and all this stuff, I am going to run some ads. Give me an I'm in the chat. I'm in the chat. So somebody here asked, Facebook user, how do you target grandmas? Well, that's an interesting question. But the thing is you're not going to target grandmas because grandmas are the gift receiver, right? They're not the buyer. That's the recipient of the gift. The buyer is going to be sons, daughters, things like that. So the good news is you don't have to worry about targeting grandmas. Or your BFF's mom. There you go. That's another way to do it. Recommended character limit for message cards. I actually did this one time. I looked at the average number of words, I think it was, for best-selling phrases. And I think it came out to be 75 words. That might be too small. I don't entirely remember. I'd have to go look at that. Sorry, Jesse. So close, but so far away to an answer. I'm in. There we go. I'm in. Good. Love to see that. Perfect. All right, let's talk about some really easy ways you can run some tests on Facebook. Now, look, you do not have to get crazy with your Facebook tests. It does not have to be, you don't have to have the hottest new method. You don't have to be an expert with Facebook ads. Facebook ads are pretty simple. I don't know how much money I've spent on ads now, a lot of money. Not only that, but I've coached a lot of people. I've got some courses out. I'm connected with other top sellers. And I've basically come to believe that if you have a winning product, any method will work, right? If you have a winning product, any Facebook ad method will work. Now, there are some caveats, right? Your targeting is just completely off or something like that. Of course, you're going to have some issues. But for the most part, if you have even a basic understanding of what you're doing, the ads are almost always not the issue. It's almost always an issue with the product. If you have a winning product, any Facebook ad method will work. That's kind of my story, and I'm sticking to it. So here is a very simple way to test some Facebook ads, right? Here's a very simple way to test some of your products. So this is a campaign structure. So right here, you're looking at the, you have one ABO campaign. ABO stands for Ad Set Budget Optimization. So when I'm doing my testing with low budgets, I like to use ABO testing. I don't like to do CBO until I start to scale anymore. So ABO, one ABO campaign. I like to have 5 ad sets. Each of these ad sets can have a duplicate or a unique interest. I personally, if I really have my targeting dialed in, I like to do duplicate interests. However, if you don't have your targeting dialed in, it may be smart to kind of go after some unique interests. Just keep in mind that when you're testing, your budgets are small, so you're not going to have a lot of money to spend exploring interests, right? So you kind of want to make your best guess when you're testing. So you're going to have 5 ad sets. Each ad set is going to be $5 a day, right? They're going to be duplicate or unique interests, right? Boom, 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 boom. And then you're going to run your best ad or your best ad on each of the ad sets. So what I like to do, I create my campaign, create my first ad set and my first ad, and then I literally just duplicate it 4 times to get the other 4 down here. So I create the first one, it's the key, so to speak, and then I just duplicate the other 4. Now you're probably going, well, what's my best image and my best copy? Well, what I like to do for this, especially when you're new, you got to do research, right? You have to go out there, do research, figure out what's working in your particular niche for your particular products, see what other people have done, and then take the best elements of those. See what images they use, see what angle the mock-ups are at. Use copy that's similar to theirs. If you're brand new and you're just starting out, that's what you need to do. I always like to say, imitate before you innovate, right? Imitate before you innovate, right? See what other people are doing, the people that you want to be like, see what they're doing, imitate them, right? Don't carbon copy them. That's not what I'm saying. Imitate them. Then later, after you've got some of your own chops, then you can innovate. So this is called the penny slots method. This is a testing method I still use and I still have results from. I still find to be a fairly good indicator of how tests are performing. So this is the method I recommend everybody here use as well. It's simple. And it'll give you results, and it's cheap, guys. It's 25 bucks. I run these for about 3 days, right? So I spend about $75 a test, sometimes a little bit more. I like to go to 2 times my break-even cost per purchase when I'm testing. So just so everybody knows, because I'm probably going to lose you there when I say that, break-even cost per purchase. If you want to find your break-even cost on an item, all you have to do, take the cost of the item, subtract your cost of goods from it. So just for example's sake, let's say the cost of the item is 50 bucks and your COGS, your cost of goods on the item is 10 bucks, right? That leaves you a $40 margin to play with. That means you can spend up to 40 bucks on ads before you lose money. So if you make a sale under 40 bucks, you make a profit. If you spend $40 to get a sale, you're break even. If you spend $41 to get a sale, you lose $1. Right? So that's your break-even cost per purchase. I like to go to 2 times that. So I'll take my break-even cost per purchase, multiply it by 2. That's about 80 bucks in the example I just gave you, which means I would run this particular method for a little over 3 days. Now, look, I don't get super scientific with that. If I spent 75 bucks over 3 days, I'd probably call that good enough. I wouldn't actually run it all the way to $80 like my example. You're just trying to get kind of in the ballpark. If you have to err on spending less or more, I'd probably, especially if you're new, err on spending a little bit more than that because the more you spend, it's a little bit more forgiving if your targeting and things like that isn't right. So that wraps up kind of the simple testing method. Now I've got 2 more tips for you here, 2 more tips to help you succeed this Mother's Day. But let's check in with the chat here. Is everybody still with me? Let me know you're with me. Let's get another, give me some fire emojis in the chat if you're still with me. Fire emojis in the chat if you're still with me. All right, I've uploaded product phrases ideas to 18 ideas, and we'll run 18 ad sets just to test all at once. Or would you recommend one at a time? So I do one product. I do one product per campaign, right? So I typically just run them one at a time. I definitely wouldn't do one campaign with 18 ideas. It'd probably confuse Facebook a little bit. All right, Ruby asks, are all the best image copy the same for each ad, or do you change them? Yes, I use the same ones for keep in mind, I do one product per campaign. That's probably important. I should have said that on the previous slide, which means all my ads can be the same, right? Because they're all for the same product. All right, does duplicating overlap audiences, or are different interests better? Look, duplicating would overlap audiences if you were spending like $1 million a day. At $5 a day, the audiences are massive. You might see a little bit of duplication, but I've never run into issues with that. Guys, I've spent lots of money, like up to 30 grand a day on single campaigns before, like with lots of duplicates inside of it, and didn't run into overlap. So you don't have to worry about it usually. Facebook user says, nice method. Well, thank you, Facebook user. Glad you're getting value out of this. Okay, let's see. You just used to test just on a product with 5 ad sets. Yeah, so with one product, I'll make one campaign with 5 ad sets. This is typically how I test. Hopefully I understood your question and answered it right. Ad set number 1 and 2 are different message cards, right? No, actually they are not. It's one product for the entire campaign. So all the ad sets will be going to the same product. Got some fire emojis going on. Goran typed fire emoji. I'll take that. Got some fire emojis. Facebook users being a rebel and gave me a little heart. Kurt got fire emojis. All right. Like the enthusiasm here. Okay. All right, good. Let's get into these 2 tips, and then we'll do some quick Q&A and wrap up. All right, 2 more tips. Buyer upload message cards are going to crush. They're going to crush this year. This is something that was not around last year. We launched these in the run up to Christmas, and I'm telling you, they freaking popped. We launched these it's like the last week in November, I think it was. And our Christmas cutoff was like the 2nd week of Christmas. And I'm telling you, we had one of these that skyrocketed right out of the gate, and there just really wasn't enough time to scale to get to like massive numbers, but the trajectory it was on, it was going to be huge. So buyer upload message cards are absolutely going to crush. Don't forget what we talked about last week. Remember how I showed you the maternity niche where people can upload ultrasound images into these cards? That could be smashed for Mother's Day. That could be an absolute smash. So these products here are going to absolutely crush. And don't forget, it's not just the necklaces. You have the bangles as well. You've got the circles. You have the hearts. I can imagine a bunch of moms out there that would love to have a little necklace with a picture of their kiddo on it with a nice lovey-dovey message card. So these are going to absolutely smash. So make sure you are on the train for those. And then also another great thing about these products is, this is tip number 2, we have a 50 to 60% take rate on engraving. So most of the time when people buy one of these products, they don't feel like it's complete without adding engraving to it. So now just imagine they can engrave the name of their kid on the back. Or if it's like a small family photo, they can engrave the name of 2 or 3 of their kids on the back. This is going to absolutely destroy for Mother's Day. So make sure you're testing with this. I mean, again, this is a new product. It was not around really last year, the buyer upload message cards. This is going to absolutely make somebody a killing in this group this year. All right, that about wraps it up for today. We're going to move into some Q&A. Do me a favor, if you guys liked today's lesson so far, could you give me a like on the post? Give me a like on the post. That's going to help it kind of stay up in the algorithm, and everybody from the Facebook group will see it and all that fancy stuff. Give me a like on the post if you thought today's session was good. And now let's move into some Q&A. So feel free to ask away. I'm going to start moving down through the list of questions here. I'll get to as many as I can, and we'll probably try to wrap up in the next, 10 minutes or so. So feel free to ask away. I see the likes coming in on the post. Appreciate that. Let's get some more of that action going on. Thank you very much. Okay, let's see what we got here. Enrique says, I'm learning a lot to put into action right away. Love that. Love that. I hope that you'll be real successful, and make sure you check in with us and let us know if you need any help, man. We're here for you guys. Matt says, are y'all still giving out swords? Yes, we are giving out swords, actually. So that could be you. You never know. Hopefully you're not saying we owe you a sword and we haven't said it yet. But yeah, we've got swords and we're giving them out, man. So, yeah. So for those that don't know, if you sell 5,000 units, 5,000, oh no, this isn't good because I work here. 5,000 swords, I think it is 5,000 units. You get a sword. And I don't have my sword with me, but it's a really cool, like broad sword. It's engraved with your store name and stuff on it. It's really freaking cool. It's a really cool sword. So yeah, we're still giving them out. All right. Same ad at 5 times 5 ads, same audience. I don't totally follow the question, but yeah, I personally know my targeting pretty well. And so all 5 of my ad sets will be going after the same interests. So they're just duplicates when I do it. Every one of them is a duplicate. Any suggestion on perfect audience size for ABO tests? No, there's no perfect audience size. There's no perfect testing method. There's no perfect ad copy. There's no perfect image. It just doesn't exist, unfortunately. So I typically, though, you probably want to stay above 500,000 and probably for a test above 500,000, potentially below 2 million. I run my tests sometimes to audiences up to 20 million, right? You're going to kind of have to feel around your niche and learn where the pockets of your buyers are at and feel this out for you specifically. I wish I could give you better answers than that, guys, but it's a spectrum and there's a lot of shades in between the ends here for this kind of stuff. So the answers are gray. They're not always super clear cut. And by the way, I'm giving it to you straight here. I could tell you that, yeah, there's a perfect audience size and all that kind of stuff. I'd just be lying to you. There just isn't. If you're new and you're just starting out, I would recommend maybe between 500,000 and 2 million. I will tell you, I've run tests before to audiences up to 20 million though, and I've been fine. All right, what is the max audience size? There is no max audience size. What about 2 ads per ad set? You can do that, but when you're on low budgets, it almost doesn't make sense because you don't have enough budget to test through both of the ads. So I usually just take my guess of what the best ad is and I throw it out there. Can you give an example of the duplicate audiences? Well, just like, you create your campaign, you'll create an ad set, you'll put your interest in the ad set. This tells you who your targeting is. So like, let's say your interest is soccer, right? Then I duplicate that ad set and suddenly I have 5 ad sets that are all targeting soccer is the interest, for example. Hopefully that answers your question. When do you stop advertising for Mother's Day so that they're on time? A week before. We'll usually tell you what the Mother's Day shipping cutoff is so that you don't have to worry about that. So we'll tell you when the cutoff is. Usually it's about 9 days before the actual holiday, but we'll tell you, we'll post it in the group. We'll let you know when you need to turn your ads off so that you don't get stuck with poor feedback scores. Sorry, guys, just didn't like that. Okay, can you use buyer upload on the Shine On site? Yeah, you can use buyer upload message cards on the platform for sure. 7 days or 1 day conversion period, which works best. I like 7 days. Typically go with whatever the longest one is they give you. With iOS 14, though, it's a total curveball. So I choose 7 days, but I think it defaults to 1 day on a lot of ads anymore. Ooh, someone asks, whoa, you've asked a lot of questions. I lost my spot and almost couldn't scroll up all the way. Joy asks, how many characters on pendants? That I don't know. That's a great question. I do not know. Pendants are quite a bit smaller, so you want to make sure the phrases are shorter and the font sizes are bigger, though. I can tell you that. You know the take rate on the earring. So keep in mind the CZ studs are post-purchase, right? So they're not on the product page. They're a post-purchase item. So they come after conversion, and we see between a 7 and 15% conversion rate. So typically, the closer you get to a holiday, the higher that conversion rate goes. On the other side of holidays, that conversion rate dips quite a bit. It also depends a little bit on the products that are trending. The CZ studs we found do really well with the other cubic zirconia products. Love Knot, Alluring Beauty, Forever Love, those kinds of products. And it doesn't do as great with the graphic pendants, which has prompted us to try to find other items to upsell with the graphic pendants. What about people with multiple children? I think you're asking me, like, from a gifting perspective, what if they have multiple children? Well, there's some things you can do. You can offer them discounts if they buy more than one. You can like on the platform in particular, you can actually choose the discount code and display it on the page and say, hey, buy more than one, use this discount code. You could do something like that. They could always use a photo that's got everybody inside of it. If you have your own Shopify store, you can do even more unique things. Like you can use tiered discounts. You can stack products where you can put it where they buy more than one at a time. I've seen people do that with the bangles, where they'll buy more than one bangle, and each bangle will have a little image of the kid on it. There's things like that that you can do. Ruby says, love this session. Thanks for the feedback on that, Ruby. David asks, are you going to place a link for the slides? Absolutely. So after we finish this, a link to the PDF and the slides will be updated in the description of the post. So if you want that, you'll be able to get that from the description of the post. I'm also going to email that out to the email list. So if you're on that, you can get it there too. Randy says, I can only like it once. Darn it. Well, at any rate, I appreciate the enthusiasm. Sarah says, I'm new to Shine-On. I'm going to be using the Shine-On platform. Do I need to purchase a domain, or is that only when using Shopify? So you should probably purchase a domain. We're trying to get everybody over to custom domains. It's not required yet, but that's the direction things are trending. So we definitely recommend get your own custom domain on the platform. They're like $12 a year too, so they're not expensive. There's a little bit of tech setup, but we got some YouTube videos that'll walk you through that. But highly recommend just go ahead and get your custom domain. Do it now. It's the future. It's where things are trending. I have a feeling every platform is going to be like that before long. Also, from a data attribution perspective, Facebook is just not very good at data attribution. And like with iOS 14, it's going to be basically impossible unless you have your own custom domain, because you have to configure the pixel events. Look, it says you're new here. I don't know if you're new to Facebook as well. I'm sure that some of what I just said is probably a little bit confusing. I'd go to our YouTube channel, look at the videos we've made about custom domains. It should help clear some of what I just set up. Yisanul, hope you're saying your name right, buddy. For daughter to mom, can you throw some tips on targeting? For daughter to mom. Well, I would target women. The way I'd probably do it is I definitely target women. I target women that are greater than 30. And then maybe what I would do is experiment with some different interests. Family might be an interest. I might experiment with women that are married. I might experiment with some other relationship statuses like single or engaged, things like that. Keep in mind that everybody has a mom, right? So you don't have to get super scientific with the targeting, right? You're really just trying to find people that are going to be more likely to buy. Since everyone's basically in the demographic, your interests are just trying to chop that demographic up into more manageable bits. So I hope that helps answer your question. Do you have plans to make manual orders on the platform? I can't say I fully understand that question. Sorry, Facebook user. How do you change a photo in the necklace for buy or upload? Yeah, so when you go to upload when you go to create the product on the platform, you can download the PSDs for the mockups, and you can change the photo on the PSD. That's how I do it. What is the ideal audience size for a $5 ad set? What is the ideal audience size for a $5 ad set? Well, again, I'd probably go between 500,000 and 2 million if you have to corner me on an answer to that. However, I don't know that there is a perfect answer to this question. Art Swapper, 0 to 10. Don't know what we're saying there. I agree with you, though. What, y'all got swords? Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, we do have swords, actually, and they are pretty cool. Used to have one on my wall. Let's see here. Now this time when run ads and also start to sell, unfortunately, desirable or restricted ad accounts of business. Yeah, look, this happens sometimes. Facebook is freaking crazy right now, and I don't know what to say. Their AI wigs out. It shuts down ad accounts sometimes. It hits your profile. It's weird. It's weird. I don't really know what to say. I do know this. More often than not, like 95% plus of the time, people get it back. So that tells you it's Facebook's problem. It's not other people's problem. They've just kind of lost it, unfortunately. However, we are doing some things on our side to try to, what's the word? I don't want to say throw off the Facebook algorithm, because that's really not it. But we're trying to do some things on our side to kind of create more diversity among our sellers with our servers in the background and the custom domains and things like that. So hopefully that will help. But unfortunately, Facebook is just Facebook. I don't see them changing anytime soon. Let's see what else we got here. Howard says, I got lost on the ad set part. Do you have video with more info on your YouTube channel? Yes, I do. Unfortunately, I'm not going to know which video that is. You have to go to our YouTube channel and kind of look around, but I do have a bunch of ad methods in there. Fram, Zach, Fram has a message for you. He wants his sword. Now, one little caveat, Fram, and this will apply to you. Customs does not appreciate it when we send weapons overseas. So I don't know, it might be a little dicey on getting you that sword. We may have to just take a picture of it and send you a picture. Okay. Let's go for a few more minutes here, and then we're going to wrap up. Let me find some good questions here. Is $10 per product good test when you have very little budget? Unfortunately, it isn't. $10 is just not enough to know if the product's going to do good for you or not. You really need to spend, I would try to spend at least $75 on a test. You used to be able to get away with spending $50 on a test. I remember when I started back in like 2016, spending $50 on a test, and we thought that was expensive at the time, but it's just continued to get more expensive over the years. All right. Can we use buyer uploads on our Shopify store? Yes, you absolutely can. It should be in your product catalog. Are our customers able to upload a picture to the message card? So not to the message card unless you have Artwork Swapper. If you have Artwork Swapper on your store, so this is an app you can install in the Shopify, and you can configure it so that it'll allow you customers to add an image to the message card. Which earrings sell better, red or white? We see more sales on the white. Jack says, CZ upsell in the Shopify store. Yes, there is actually. It's in the product catalog. On the Shopify store, though, it requires you to do a few extra steps. You got to install a post-purchase item app, kind of like Zipify, one-click upsell, or Cart Hook. Then you have to go create the CZ stud product in your store and then map the post-purchase funnel to that product. So yes, you can absolutely do it. Highly recommend you check that out if you haven't yet. It's just an easy way to increase your AOV. It's after conversion, so it doesn't impact conversions. It's free money, basically. And who doesn't like free money? All right. Just looking through the comments here. How do we get a sword? I believe it's 5,000 units. Sell 5,000 units, you get a sword. It might be 10,000, but I think it's 5,000. Do you have any tips on words best to avoid when creating an ad? Well, look, everybody says not to use the word you and your and things like that. I still do use that. What Facebook doesn't want is for people to feel like you're singling them out in the ad. So if you were to say something like this, hey, middle-aged man working a corporate 9 to 5, are you feeling stressed out? When you say something like that, imagine you're a Facebook user and you're scrolling, you're like, whoa, this is ad copy that's talking to me a little bit too directly. And Facebook gives you the ability to get super specific like that, right? You can literally target a middle-aged individual working at a corporate job. Like, so for example, if you just employees of, just pick a company, Samsung, most of those people are likely to be white collar office workers. Right. So pick somebody that's 40 to 50 years old, working for Samsung and likes Camaros. And suddenly you can write ad copy that will blow this guy's mind when he sees it. Facebook doesn't like that because they found that it freaks people out. So that's what Facebook is trying to avoid. So just keep in mind when you're writing your ad copy, it needs to be general. You can still use the words like you and your. They just need to be used sparingly. And you want to avoid people feeling like you have like a sixth sense or something and are picking them out of a crowd. Hopefully that answers your question. All right, let's do 2 more here, and then we'll stop. How long does the pixel stay in learning mode? I think you need 50 purchases a week to get it out of it. I think that's it. Last I remember, it's 50 a week. Sarah says, have you experimented with IG or TikTok ads? So yes, I've experimented with IG, and we do have a whole bunch of sellers experimenting with TikTok ads, and we've seen varying amounts of success. So I would recommend, it kind of depends on the niche. I think it depends a little bit on your creative. So it's definitely a place where you can test 100%. I don't know that anybody's necessarily cracked the code, but I've definitely not ruled it out as a good platform either. Facebook and IG are kind of one and the same now. So when you run a Facebook ad, it almost always spills over into Instagram. Let's do one more. Looking for a good question here that I haven't answered yet. I'll answer this one. How many products should we have for Mother's Day in our store? Well, a little bit of a interesting question to answer. It really only takes one product to be a winner, right? Usually in this particular game, most of your products will be losers. Most of them will be. You're looking for the one that makes you 95% of your profit. And that's typically how it is. I mean, it literally is a spread where it's like 5% of your products will make you 95% of your profit. So most of the time you're striking out. You're launching products, they don't work. You're launching products, they don't work. You launch a product, boom, you hit a winner. You make back all your loss in ad spend plus a bunch of profit, and then you just repeat the cycle over and over again. So you don't have to have tons and tons of products in your store. Just one product can make all the difference. All right, everybody. I think that's going to wrap up today's Coffee with Michael. I appreciate everybody joining. go take some action. If you enjoyed today's session, smash that like button. Give me some love in the chat here. How about some rocket emojis? If you enjoyed today's session, give me some rocket emojis. Rocket emojis if you enjoyed today's session. Thanks so much for joining me, and we'll see you same time, same place, coffee in hand next week. Take care, everybody.